Bismuth. I can't use this.
What? Why not?
Shattering gems. Wouldn't that make us the same as Homeworld?
Of course!
I don't need someone to save me when I climb onto a Ferris wheel and... Oh, man.
Why? Who would do this?
That's who.
Oh my God!
Alright, so Rebecca Sugar Bean, the creator of Steven Universe, just straight up told us within the pages of her End of an Era art book, and I'm quoting her, that Bismuth was a construction worker turned revolutionary, radical extremist crystal gem, which, you know, at first glance honestly seemed to be Rebecca's way of telling us that the showrunners didn't believe that Bismuth's ideology was right at all. Plus, this made sense when you think about the way that the series chose to handle the resolutions of pretty much all of their major conflicts. And to top it off, 99% of you watching right now agreed that the show was trying to teach us that Bismuth's ideology was entirely wrong. But no, this couldn't have even been further from the truth. I mean, Rebecca Sugar, along with the vast majority of the other Crewniverse members, including Kat Morris and Joe Johnston, who were both supervising directors on the show, have been surprisingly vocal on the official Steven Universe podcast about the fact that Bismuth was never wrong about her ideology on shattering gems in the first place. They'd even go as far as clarifying that we weren't supposed to walk away from Bismuth's introductory episode thinking that her ideology was inherently wrong.
Bismuth isn't a bad guy. I want to clarify that. She never was, and we don't consider her as such. I think she had a different ideology, but
yes,
I think it's one that is very understandable, and I think half of the audience would agree. You know, do you save one person and kill millions, or do you save millions and kill one? I mean, I think depending on what you believe in, the answer is obvious. And so for Bismuth, the answer was obvious, but unfortunately it didn't align with Rose. And Rose, being kind of a great character herself, did what she thought was best to protect her own interests, and that's how that all played out. But I don't think either party was explicitly wrong or right.
Yeah, and that's really the point of that episode, was sort of displaying and showing that to Steven.
Moral ambiguity.
Yes, and then
your mom's not that great, Steven.
Nope. And we keep returning to that moral ambiguity throughout the series.
Yeah. So what was it like tackling that? I mean, it's not like, you guys haven't tackled it before in the show, but like, I think that this was like a pretty big landmark in terms of just like the amount of ambiguity, I guess. What was it like tackling that for you guys? It's
ambiguous and not for Steven. Like, it's pretty clear to Steven, like, what's wrong and what's right in this situation. And he feels like what Bismuth wants to do is wrong. But he also doesn't want to fight her. He doesn't want... So I think that's where the moral ambiguity comes in.
Because he really likes her. He definitely doesn't want to do what she thinks he's going to do, which is bubble her away and not say anything to anyone, exactly like his mom did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you heard that right. The two supervising directors of Steven Universe wanted us to understand that the show respected Bismuth's ideology and didn't set out to make us believe that it was just flat out wrong, even if our boy Steven himself was against the ideology. And as I was alluding to earlier, Rebecca Sugar, along with her husband Ian Jones Quartz, both agree with Kat Morris and Joe Johnston's thoughts on the subject. Honestly, they even took their explanation on why Bismuth's ideology was perfectly valid a couple of steps further, if you could believe it. Remember when Bismuth would claim that there wasn't anyone who was more of a crystal gem than she was on the team?
It's not what a crystal gem would do.
Don't tell me what a crystal gem would do. Nobody's more crystal gem than I am.
Who am I saying that? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Well, it turns out that Bismuth was 100% right. Tragically so.
I mean, Bismuth loved Rose. Really looked up to Rose.
Yeah.
And the thing to know about Rose is that Rose was saying awful things about the diamonds, especially Pink Diamond, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
The reason that Bismuth considers herself to be like this ultimate crystal gem is because she was following Rose's vitriol more to the letter than anybody else, which is why she got so confused, because she was like, hey, everything you're saying leads to this very, very logical conclusion, which is that we have to do this. I have to be like your ultimate champion in this. And then all of a sudden she gets struck down.
And I think, Rose, because she was so hard on herself as Pink, because she had so much, she wanted to run away from that life so bad, she like overstated to Bismuth, as much as she could about how horrible Pink was. And it's something that this is very much in the margins, but it's all there because when you hear Garnet tell the story, that's the story that Rose told. Yeah. And when Garnet, this is like in Your Mother and Mine, the story that Rose would tell was about this cowardly, horrible monster. This manipulative, cackling, evil. But Garnet isn't making that up. Garnet never saw that person. I mean, you see Pink, and she's like a dork. But is that too much to say? No, it's not too much to say. She's,
Now, Rose Quartz was ironically the architect behind Bismuth's ideology from the start. That much was explained to us by Bismuth herself during her debut episode. But this has always only been the very tip of the iceberg, because according to the showrunners, Rose was also directly responsible for the formation of two more extreme ideologies, being Jasper's and her own, which we'll definitely be discussing later on. But right now, we need to unpack the true horrors behind the formation of Bismuth's ideology.
This is very subtle, but I kind of want people to be aware that this is like a character that put herself in a situation where everyone around her was saying, destroy yourself.
Yeah.
That's and she made that reality for herself.
Yeah.
Like that, and tried to leave that behind as much as possible. And I'm trying not to color this with any right or wrong here. I'm just saying that this is what this character did.
What the character did, yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times we would approach Bismuth as almost like we write her kind of like a soldier who kind of is trying to figure out that the war is over, who has been put through a lot and, has this way of thinking that was given to her. And now she's at loose ends, and it's, it makes things tough for her.
Yeah, I mean, she's a champion for this cause, and the cause, and a person who betrayed her, which is complicated. Ultimately, Bismuth's thing, I think, is that she cares about her friends more than anyone.
Yeah.
She cares about protecting and defending and fighting for these people that she loves, including Rose, which is why the whole thing was so confusing.
Yeah.
And now that she gets to, now that she is back, she can defend them.
And it was confusing for Steven too, which is why it never seemed like the right time until there's more information.
Yeah, just to give the closure, I guess.
Yeah.
Rose, Bismuth, and Jasper are all connected through their ideologies, except while Bismuth's ideology would be formed as a result of her admiration for Rose, Jasper's ideology would evidently be formed for the exact opposite reason.
Neither of you saw Rose Quartz? Oh, what a shame. I'd hoped to meet her. I was looking forward to beating her into the ground.
Priceless. There are some things money can't buy.
I think like a lot of the characters, I really wanted Jasper to appear to be a lot more one-dimensional than she actually is.
Right.
I mean, all of her behavior has a root, and, I wanted you to meet her and get a lot of the foliage. Does this make sense?
Above the root?
Yes.
Is that what?
get the leaves, There's a lot, as soon as you meet her, I mean, the reason she's there, like, she didn't have to be the one to do this, but she's got a stake in Rose Quartz and Earth.
Right, she has a score to settle, basically.
Yeah.
And actually, early on, you don't actually know that.
Yeah.
But you just know there's something there behind her intentions.
She's talking about it, yeah. But she's talking about it in it's very personal for her. She's not going to tell, Peridot, definitely not Lapis, like why this is such a personal thing for her, but you're going to sort of slowly
there's a lot of great moments
find out,
especially in Jailbreak and The Return, where if you go back and watch those, knowing what you know about Jasper, you see like a lot of clues as to why she's there and how she feels about the gems, and Rose Quartz especially.
Yeah.
One of the most impactful scenes with Jasper has to be the moment when she chooses to refuse help from Steven when she was freshly corrupted during the climax of Earthlings.
You wait until after they've lost. Because when you're at the bottom, you'll follow anyone that makes you feel like less of a failure.
But wait! There's more!
You suffer because it's what you deserve. We all only get what we deserve. Right, Amethyst?
And Jasper made that decision because of her ideology. Jasper believed that gems only got what they deserved, which is brutal when you take a step back and think about it. Because according to Rebecca Sugar and Ian Jones-Scotty, our girl Jasper was disrespected by her superiors and forced to prove that she was worthy of being called a homeworld gem every day for thousands of years, despite having emerged as the perfect quartz soldier simply based on the fact that she was still one of the gems who emerged on the failed Earth colony. So Jasper's belief that gems only got what they deserved kind of implies that there was some major amounts of self-hatred going on inside of her head, just like Amethyst during the earlier seasons of the show.
Well, she's very different than Amethyst. Like, Amethyst has problems knowing that she's from Earth because her whole experience has been, you know, she's gotten so many subtle clues that the kindergarten is this awful place and that she's from this awful place that was this huge mistake because it was them invading Earth. Like, she's put it together that there's something wrong with that. But Jasper feels differently because she's from, like Amethyst kindergarten was a very successful kindergarten. Jasper's from a very unsuccessful kindergarten. She's from not only is she from Earth, which is a complete failure of a planet as far as Homeworld is concerned, she's from like the worst kindergarten on Earth. So she came out with a lot to prove, which is what defines her way.
Jasper had to live and work in a system that knew all those things about her, that she's from this failed colony, from this place that was this like huge quagmire for, you know, gem kind.
And everyone else, I think, you know, the gems that came from the beta kindergarten were so flawed that no matter how she's perfect, like all evidence points to her being perfect, but she's never going to shake the idea that there's got to be something wrong.
And that's kind of where like her sort of pride comes from, why she won't accept help from anybody.
She feels like she had to work harder than everyone, you know, and prove herself with this nagging notion in her mind that she's from this place is so disgraceful. And that Rose is like, when people think of Earth on Homeworld, they think of Rose Quartz and this rebellion, and it's like a thing she can never escape.
She can't shake this thing.
This association with this really negative association with Earth, and no matter how, even though she's like the best thing to come out of Earth, she still came out of Earth.
Yeah, deep down, Jasper didn't even believe that she deserved to have emerged as being the perfect quartz soldier, which makes her a massive hypocrite. And we already knew that Jasper was a massive hypocrite because she clearly didn't believe that Pink Diamond deserved to have gotten shattered, right? But that's just it. Jasper's self-hatred ran so deep that she had no choice but to put up this front while dedicating her life to seeking revenge on Rose Quartz in order for her to not completely fall apart.
Something I always liked about Jasper on the show was how she rarely put her emotions and her true feelings on her sleeve. They kind of sneak out like in these small moments where she says like a line that suddenly you're like, oh, that, you know, you're finally seeing to the core of this character. But usually when she's talking, it's like boasting, bravado, a lot of pride, a lot of like her just being, you know, in her element of being like this like decorated, cool, you know, warrior gem.
Right. It's the opposite of how she actually feels.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason she has to
put
that
like
so front and center. It's because she, deep down, she feels like she doesn't really deserve that. To be that, and that's why she can't escape this place. She's just letting it destroy her. Like when she's there, and she's destroying herself. But I think because she's so worried, like at the core, that the core of herself is wrong. She keeps diving into it and just doing horrible things.
because she thinks she's horrible. She thinks she's horrible.
It's really tragic.
Yeah.
Kat Morris and Joe Johnston would intriguingly explain to us why Bismuth and Jasper were actually incredibly similar gems who held incredibly similar ideologies. Or were they?
I think they're more different than they are similar. You know, I think Bismuth is really blue collar. She's just a construction worker. Jasper is kind of, you know, she's a glorious warrior, super respected. Bismuth was like literally in the dirt, making things for gems, and so she found out it didn't have to be that way, and she rebelled. And Jasper wants it to be that way forever. She likes the order. She wants everything to be exactly as it is, and Bismuth wants anarchy.
Because she's cool.
She is cool.
Don't incite anarchy, Joe.
Rule of cool, Kat. Rule of cool. If it's cool, it's cool.
It stays, yes.
And just for some much needed added context, before moving on to Rose Quartz's ideology, do you remember when Bismuth would let us know that she was responsible for creating every material weapon that was used during the Gem War?
Every material weapon used by the crystal gems was made right here in this forge.
Well, Rebecca Sugar and Ian Jones-Quartey confessed to us that Bismuth was partly created to plug up an old plot hole that has literally been lingering in the backgrounds of episodes since season 1.
Steven Sugar, Rebecca's brother, would always litter the world with all these with all these weapons, all these huge gem weapons.
Oh yeah, and we knew we needed a person who had made them.
We were like, who made all the weapons? And then we figured out, oh, what is their team missing? They don't have like a weaponsmith.
Yeah,
they don't have a builder. Like someone had to build all the stuff that eventually belonged to all the gems, the crystal gems on Earth. And who was that? And so very early on, we realized the hole that Bismuth would be filling. And yeah, it was very easy to figure out her character when we had that.
Yeah. Right, sort of tied it together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, her place on the team, for sure. And then her character started to make a lot of sense after. Like, you know, being sort of like this gooey center of the team.
I like that.
That just leaves Rose Quartz. I mean, what in the world even was Rose's ideology after she'd shatter Pink Diamond and gain her freedom on the Earth? Because Rebecca and Ian would widely confirm that Rose Quartz being a gem, or more specifically being a diamond, never truly understood empathy, which again is a little strange to say the least, but it does make sense. It helps us understand why Rose never went back for Spinel or chose to make things right with Bismuth when she had the chance.
Oh, I mean, I love writing for Rose because there's so much behind her. The person she wants to be, and Rose is the person she wants to be so badly. And she's not always really good at it, which is something that really comes to light in We Need to Talk.
Yeah.
She's very ambitious about being this person that really cares about people. It's really difficult for her.
So you think she just doesn't understand like empathy?
She's trying. She's always really trying.
But it's hard for somebody with that much power, you know, to get that.
I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. I genuinely haven't heard anyone on the internet speak as harshly about Rose as the creators of the show themselves. And I'm sure that they're speaking about Rose like that because they feel strongly about her journey. But still, as you'll soon see, all roads seem to lead back to Bismuth. Almost as if Bismuth was responsible for molding Rose's ideology, just as much as Rose was responsible for molding Bismuth's ideology.
We were trying to pace out everyone's feelings about Rose Quartz.
Yeah.
And this is the turning point. Where
this was a huge turning
where
point.
you find out that Rose Quartz is a really awful person.
Yeah, and I always loved the trope of someone who, like a villain who is sort of bad to their own subordinate. You know, and then this is the episode where you find out that Rose kind of was that.
Rose is. Rose is.
I mean, you know, I'm saying that is the trope that I like, but in that episode, it's very clear she did wrong.
This is someone who, oh my gosh, I mean, Bismuth adored
Rose.
Yeah.
Who loved Rose.
And she was willing to do like
she would have done anything
for,
for Rose. And she did.
For Rose specifically.
She did the thing that Rose definitely wanted the most.
Yeah.
And then she was upset about it. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, Bismuth doesn't get, not only does Bismuth not get to understand why, none of her friends do either.
Exactly.
And the whole thing is just swept under the rug. I mean, this is really...
Yeah.
Like, we can... It's one thing to be like, oh, Jasper hates Rose Quartz. We fought in the war.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone who idolized Rose.
Yeah.
And then was totally... Can I say screwed over?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sort of...
You know what the worst thing about it is? That she still talks about how great she is.
I know, and she still talks
about how great she is.
Rose, yeah. It's really tragic.
She still made that difference in Bismuth's life.
Rose Quartz truly believed that gems deserved to have the freedom to change. That was her ideology at her core, but according to Rebecca and Ian, Rose, similarly to Bismuth and Jasper, wasn't quite ever really able to live up to her own ideology, which is beyond tragic.
One thing I think that I like that slowly unfolds is I feel like I want people to realize that all of Steven's compassion is coming from Greg.
Yes. That's a good way of, that's a good way of putting it.
That's, and Rose knows that too. She's interested in that because she does not quite understand it. And that is one of my favorite things about
we see that
drawing her and writing her. That is pretty foreign to her. That's pretty foreign to Gems.
In We Need to Talk, you really see that illustrated.
Yeah, she really thinks she's like able to be a convincing human being. But she's just sort of playing at it. It's very surface, and she needs Greg to. She's like fascinated by Greg because it comes really, really naturally to him, and now Steven is, this compassionate warrior. But the warrior part is Rose. The compassionate part is Greg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I think you'll have a good time if you watch this video next, because it's where we investigate the mystery behind the second blue diamond. Yeah, the writers confirmed that there were literally always two distinct versions of Blue Diamond on the show. Either way, I really hope to see you there.